As anyone that's travelled the outback knows, tough roads require a tough vehicle, and that's why dual cab utes like the BT-50 are becoming increasingly popular with bucket list travellers. We're going to do one big bucket list road this week and take this BT-50 down the Gibb River. The Gibb River Road stretches 660 kilometres from the Kununurra junction at the Great Northern Highway through to Derby on the West Australian coast. And while the road itself is worth the trip, it's the excursions to the massive cattle stations and picturesque chasms and gorges that line the Gibb River Road that make this trip truly spectacular. One of the most well-known side trips to the Gibb River Road is our Questro Wilderness Park at the road's eastern end. Balancing cattle farming with adventure tourism, the million-acre property gives visitors a taste of what the Kimberley region has in store. And with unique vantage points accessible only by four-wheel drive, our Questro gives us our first glimpse at how truly expansive the area is. It's a venue that easily deserved a week of our time, but with the West Coast calling, we ventured back to the Gibb and crossed the iconic Pentecost River before our overnight stop at the 3.5 million acre Home Valley Station. Day 2 sees us face some of the rougher stretches of the Gibb River Road, fine dust and harsh corrugations making travelling in these parts hard work, but the BT-50 takes it all in its stride. We've certainly seen a lot of different vehicles traversing the Gibb River Road, and look, this part in particular, it is quite smooth. We're getting along at a reasonable pace, about 70 to 80 kilometres an hour or so, very well maintained, but there's been some other sections that are just really, really rough, and I think you've got to have a think about what you're going to drive before you get out here. You certainly don't want to get into the family SUV and try honking along in that. I think you're going to do some damage. And we've also seen some of the big American trucks out here, which they seem to cope really well with roads like this, the Gibb River Road, but when they try and get on those little side detours to pop in and have a look at some of the stations and the gorges, they really struggle to manoeuvre around those tight roads and some of those little narrow water crossings that cars like this, we're not having any trouble at all. In places, we see examples of just how tough the Gibb River Road can be, but sensible progress gets us safely through Day 2 and onto one of the road's 2 fuel stops at Mount Barnett. The roadhouse also just so happens to be the access point to the campgrounds at Manning Creek, the family-friendly stopover providing the opportunity to cool off or a vigorous walk to the stunning Manning Gorge. Gorges like the Manning, Adcock, Bell and Leonard punctuate the flat and dusty landscape in these parts, attracting all sorts of bird and animal life and showcasing Aboriginal artwork tens of thousands of years old. Dreamtime stories are depicted in magnificently preserved detail, the rivers and gorges popular with tourists today holding special meaning with the land's earliest inhabitants. Well, we've been on the Gibb River Road for a couple of days now, and I've got to say it's a bit of a mixed bag. It's not what I expected it to be. I just expected these huge, long, straight expanses of road, but yeah, it really is a very varied landscape out here. From these big red cliffs to the quite forested over areas and the beautiful gorges, there's really a lot to see, and I just reckon that the biggest thing you've got to keep in mind out here is to just take your time. There's so many little side trips to do off the main road itself that I reckon I could spend a month out here and not get bored. But sadly, we don't have a month up our sleeve, so we push on deeper into the heart of the Kimberley to see just why the Gibb River Road exists. Believe it or not, this is why the Gibb River Road exists. This is the site of the old Glenroy Meat Works, which after flying cattle carcasses in and out down to Perth became too expensive, they commissioned a road further north to start moving cattle on trucks. And it's that road that now takes us into the very heart of the Kimberley and the breathtaking King Leopold Ranges. We visit the big name sites of the region, including the towering Windjana Gorge that rises 100 metres over what was once the ocean floor. Fossils and cave paintings are found throughout this sacred place. The gorge and nearby Tunnel Creek, once also the location of a bloody 3-year standoff between local tribesmen and Western Australian police. Thankfully, those times are behind us, and sadly so too is the Gibb River Road. From Tunnel Creek, it's a quick hour-and-a-half drive to the once famous cattle shipping town of Derby, where we bid a fond farewell to our sturdy BT-50s. Well, that's it. The Gibb River Road done and very much dusted. The BT-50s haven't missed a trick, and I'll tell you what, as a taste of what's on offer in the Kimberley, the Gibb River Road certainly does have it all. It's definitely one to put on your bucket list.